This week, we have a returning guest for another wonderful talk.
Yes.
I love the input. Kudos.
That's what I'm here for.
Indeed. Yeah, this one, long overdue, but, just kind of how it works out. But I'm glad we got to do it because it was a reminder of just so much positivity, with energy and everything.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because we haven't recently covered a movie done by this person. However, we are in this episode bringing attention and bringing good vibes.
Yeah, a couple.
To an indie filmmaker, to a creative, to someone who's, in our tribe.
Yeah. We did mention his short film, and we do mention it in this.
Yeah.
But in a previous episode, when we were talking about stuff, we did bring it up after we had watched it. So
yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, it's good. And we're going to talk about it again and some other stuff. I love these talks. I mean, I don't think we've had one where we haven't come away from it like, energy.
Yeah. Well, I think also in this one, it's really interesting because over the past year, we've talked to a lot of people and we've, talked a little bit about kind of the impact that this past year has had on creatives in the industry and stuff. But that has never really been a big focus in any of our talks.
No.
And in this talk, I think that it was about time to really kind of explore what this whole thing has done to us.
Yeah. Well, and it's the first time we focused on what people have been doing. So, the whole thing and what it is to come out of this. I mean, when we talked with Eric and Jeff and Marty and Cliff and stuff about Revenge of Zoe, we talked a little bit about things kind of being in the middle of everything and how it shut down and getting the anxious, and they're already started.
Well, doing
things, but this is more of a like coming out of the chute, with a brand new project that's been on hold the whole time, not started and left.
Yeah.
But also we talked about something that hasn't been talked about. When you have a movie and it's out and you have that momentum and things are going, and then all of a sudden the curtain drops.
Yeah, it was timed really interestingly.
Yeah. Anyway. So, listeners, I think you're going to enjoy this. You listen to our first one with this person. This is just even better. And that one was great.
Yeah.
So, shall we get to this whole talk?
Yeah. I'm really psyched to do it. Do you like this energy that I'm bringing?
I do. I feel like I should have just went ahead and done this intro on my own.
No, I'm here for it.
Clearly. Okay. Well, here we go.
Yeah, let's go. Why are we waiting?
All right, we're off.
Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
And today we have a really cool interview that I've been looking forward to for a while with Mr. Hilton Ariel Ruiz. Welcome, Hilton.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, good to have you on again.
It's been a spell. Since last
I know,
time,
right?
Man.
It's been definitely wild with this crazy last I don't know what you would call it, this year and a half. Just everybody just took a back step. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to get back on track, get back on the groove, and the jam has to continue, So that's the most exciting thing about it, that, things seem to get back to normal and, artists as ourselves, we can, start, getting back to what we love, is just create art.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, for folks like us, being writers wasn't really a big deal because, we hold ourselves up anyway to do our writing. And when they say you can't go outside and play, we're like, oh, I guess we got to sit and write. But for actors and directors, actual filmmakers who do the physical, medium, like I said, we've talked to several people. How have you dealt with almost being like a 5-year-old and being told you can't do the thing you want to do? And, there's the big hand smack ready to happen when you try it in this last year between quarantine, lockdown, and stuff. And we haven't had it as bad because we're in the Midwest. On the East Coast,
densely populated.
Yeah, man, it's like times 5. What's that been
Yeah.
like?
Being out here in New York has been at times I feel like we're always in ground zero, when things happen. Here in New York City and also out in California, it's been really, LA's been really hit hard. So it's just, when it first started to happen, I'll tell you really quick story. So when we started with the whole streaming, right, we had the first one began on the 28th of November. We started, we premiered Zombie with a Shotgun on the streaming services. And then, it was really exciting because, we were like, oh, wow, here it is. We finally is able to get this film out and promote it. So, that was that, I think the day before Thanksgiving, it was released, something like that. We got it released, then December, January, February, we had 3 months. And then March, boom, everything got shut down.
Yeah.
And, it was so exciting because I was riding on this wave. And it was a really big wave of, the film got released. I was starting to do interviews, podcasts. I was talking to investors. I was talking to screenwriters, producers, of just saying, hey, what are you going to do next? And the whole goal was to, get the sequel out. And in February, we created this team of producers and actors to come on board for the sequel. And it was that time in February, I was like, wow, I mean, this looks like these guys are really serious. We were going on the phone almost on a daily basis talking about how the storyline of Zombie with a Shotgun, so I would, we would go like every day on the phone. I would tell them, this is the storyline, this is the phone, this is what the sequel will be about. So these producers I was getting on the phone, they were discussing actors they could possibly get in and on and everything, how much money. And we were just going, but it was just like very good time. It was happy times. It was like, wow. And boom, just like that, nothing. Everything, when everything shut down the country or whatever, New York shut down, that's it. Didn't hear anything from anybody. No more producers, no more actors, everything shut down. And it was just sad because I was like, all right, here goes Zombie with a Shotgun. I'm finally now, catching that second wave and riding on that second wave. And it just was like, holy shit, just like that. It was gone. And there was no conventions. That was, that was my plan, to go to conventions and promote the film. And, it was just, and everybody took a back step. Everybody who's in the art world and even work, and people's second hustle became like their first hustle. And it was just, I guess it was sad, depressing, at that time. But in a way, I try to look at it in a good way. I think, I think all of us kind of like, took a back step and reflect in life and family. And it was just kind of weird because, I think like in the years to come, I don't think we're going to realize that, yeah, it was a sad time. It was a really depressing time, but we were together as families that we would never, ever be in ever again in time.
Right.
We did things that we take granted for, there was, and it was called time. We was able to spend time with people that we love and care, and look around the house and clean the house and try to figure out, what life is all about. And I kind of took that. I was like, like, maybe this was a good break. And I think, we could, and again, it's so sad because so many people passed away. There were so many people that lost loved ones, especially the people that went to the hospitals. They weren't allowed to see loved ones. And I think we all have somebody, know somebody, sort of that experience of what happened during that time. And that's, it was sad, but, I would say it was around October of last year. I said to myself, I gotta start up doing something, and that's when Clans Rules came in. I had a person that called me about a project about vampires and stuff, and I had a script a while back that I wrote, and I said, hey, let me start on this Clans Rules film. And here's the interesting thing, me. Like thinking, okay, this is going to be easy. It was so tough because I couldn't get nobody because it's non-union. So it was even hard to get people to come on board because like they were afraid if they came on, they would get in trouble by the SAG. And it was so difficult. But I was able to get this amazing talent for the film and met new people, new actors. Even though I worked with a couple of them, they were still not afraid. They were like, yeah, let's do this. And yeah, around October, November, we shot the project and we released it in end of January or beginning of February of this year. So that was a good jump start of like, let's get things going.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole, like I said, when the curtain came down, when we spoke to you, Zombie with a Shotgun was just getting out there, and we're one of the people lucky enough to have grabbed some of your time. And then we talked to Kyle Hester, because we did an episode on the show. We talked to you, we talked to Kyle about his experience with the film and then just his thing. And it was all over the media. And we were like, this is really cool, man. We were pointing people to it. It's like, hey, zombie fans, man, come on, you got to check this out. New twist, not freaky, pretty cool. Get into it. And then, wham. Because we haven't forgotten your tantalizing, vague description off air of your idea for the sequel.
Yeah.
We've been clinging to that this whole time. And when Clans Rules came out, we saw it get posted, and we of course watched it and we loved it. And it was just like, it's like being told your dinner's going to be 45 minutes late, so here's some tasty bread. It was tasty.
Yes.
It was just enough, but it's like, it just makes me want more. So we are excited that there's going to be a continuation of this. For new listeners, go back and listen to the episodes. We always tell you that. But Zombie with a Shotgun is such a fantastic new take on zombies and a zombie story. It's not, post-apocalyptic. It's not Walking Dead. And it actually takes the whole zombie concept and some other things, mixes them together in this delightful, refreshing, like crisp salad of just so many flavors and colors and things going on. You just, if you see the poster, you look at it and you're like, wow, awesome. When I saw you post, was it today? Forgive me, I haven't become time aware deficient in all of this. Like even
I'm the same way.
But I saw you post that number 2 is going to come out of the corral in terms of a project. Did I read that correctly?
Zombie with a Shotgun Part 2 you're talking about? Yes. So what happened is, so when the whole thing with the whole pandemic, I had the sequel still in my mind. But again, I felt like, oh man, this has to be, it has to be right. And I would talk to Kyle, and Kyle and I would talk back and forth. And I'm like, listen, and one thing that I've always said was, if we would do the sequel, this is of course pre-pandemic. I said, oh man, I really don't want to go in that campaign thing again. I mean, that was like a full-time job. It was a 24/7 job of, I said, I really don't want to do it. It's I don't have to tell you guys, it's a job.
Yeah. Well, you had to do 2 of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had to, you stopped. Yeah. You stopped and restarted because Yeah.
Yes. So I said to Kyle, what do you think? Should we start? And me and Kyle was thinking, it's like, let's wait till, so we had September in mind. I said, look, if things start to get back to normal, maybe September, I said, look, at this point, nobody's going to be investing in indie films as they used to. No one's throwing money out like that no more because, everyone's afraid. No one has money. A lot of people moved away. So it was about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kyle and I was talking, and I was like, look, I think it's time. I feel it. I said, I think I'm going to announce it. So he was like, yeah. So we started talking. I said, I think the best way is to do like on a Patreon page and, slowly, surely get people come on board and really like, here's a big campaign, 2 months, let's raise all this money. So I said, okay, start something small, $3 a month, and that can, grow, of course. So I started thinking and saying, hey, it's as you all know, we do a lot of films that's we're not in the system. We do films to stay away from the system. We don't want people to tell us what to do. So I started seeing the Patreon, and I'm like, wow, I started to see people doing amazing things with it. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know why I never started this before, but maybe I can do this also. As you could see, I designed with a shotgun part 2, and also things I can shoot for the fans. And so that's how that's how I see it right now. And I think it was like 10 days ago I did the Patreon site, and I put it out there. And I have to tell you, it was sort of like I don't know. It was I don't know how to explain this or what is the right word for it. But when I announced it, Zombie with a Shotgun 2, I felt like the fans, when the pandemic happened, I never heard from anybody. I didn't really hear from my fans. I didn't hear from nobody. And all suddenly this amazing, just a crazy amount of people direct messaging me saying, I love Zombie with a Shotgun. I would love to be part of this. And it was just on a daily basis, every single day, I'm getting these numerous DMs. And it just made me feel like, wow, it's like, it does seem like people coming back. And it was just sort of this like, oh man, there was this. So I was like, oh, so you're the one that saw the film, So it was so amazing, and I'm getting all these great feedback of people that really went out there and see the film, and they're coming out supporting. And, that's another conversation. Kyle, I was like, wow, it's pretty cool. I said, now, that this huge wave of crowd of the fans are just waking up and saying, yeah, look, let's do it. Let's roll. We're behind you. And I thought that was cool. I think that was, like I said, refreshing and made me feel like, yeah, it's time. Let's do it.
Excellent.
I mean, I think, and maybe this is hopeful optimism thinking, I think that after the past year, I think people maybe have realized how valuable and important the entertainment industry is, and like people, artists and creatives and all of the things that we do. I think I've experienced, like, just in the past couple of months, friends that I have that are creatives, that are just starting to get back and do the things that they love. Like, they're experiencing people really expressing their appreciation of that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with you with that 100%. And I think that everything we see, we hear is political, right? And we're tired of it. And we have like this, independent, old fashioned filmmaking that's not part of the system. It's something that, I do, and a lot of artists out there that are that need help. And I think that unconsciously plays with people's mind that, unconsciously knowing that, we're tired of people telling us what to do. We're tired of the politics. We're tired of seeing the same old film in Netflix. We're tired of seeing the same old film in Disney and Marvel. It's just same repetitive and redundant stuff we're seeing over and over. And I think people, like I said, in their mind unconscious is saying to themselves, yeah, I want to see something different because it's not part of that system. It's not something that we hear and see on a daily basis, and we're tired of it. And here I am. I'm going to back this guy up because I want to see, I want to feel, and I want to hear something different. And I think that really is resonating with people when they're connecting to artists, indie artists.
I bitch about that almost every episode. I mean, that's the thing. We even have a term. We call it the Hollywood formula. There's two ways to go about being a creative. One, you can go the Hollywood formula route and go through all that. And that's where you know what you want. You want to get in a room to write a TV show. You want to do all these movies and stuff. But, it's like, telling a kid, hey, just go play for the NBA. How many guys are on a team? How many guys are sitting on the bench? How many guys only see like 3 games a year? Now, how many people are out there are auditioning, or trying out for it? And how many people don't even get to the tryouts? So the odds become exponentially stacked against you. And you have to fight the hardest to get into this system to do the Hollywood formula, which is stifles creativity, and it's a business model. That's what they have. Do this, do this, do this. Now, they've kind of been going against their own stuff. Like my biggest bitch about everything has been these 3 and 4 hour films. To us as writers, we're like, Jesus Christ, that's just bad storytelling. That's bad writing. If you need 4 hours to get your point across, something has happened. And I'm talking about Justice League. Listeners know that I have some things about that. But all these Marvel films and stuff, the things that make them the most money, it's gotten to the point where, number one, it's nothing new or creative or inventive in terms of story or approach. Number two, it's just way too long. I don't want to commit 2 hours, 58 minutes in a theater chair watching what we have described as basically a, masturbatory salute to the director's unlimited funds and ability to, do their thing because they made it to that top notch in the formula. I think what this whole pandemic has done is given people obviously plenty of time to branch out. And I think the arrival of Tubi, because honestly, I knew it was out there and I just didn't, like, who has the time to keep checking all these streaming services? Oh my God, Tubi, forget Netflix, forget Hulu, forget Prime. Tubi has been like our tabernacle of beauty. It has so many B movies and independent films. And stuff that was kind of on the weird fringe back in the day, like Mosquito Coast, arguably an A movie budget film. Hardly anybody ever saw it.
That's a Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah. But to see a lot of people that we've spoken with have their stuff pumped up on Tubi, it's like, oh man, this is awesome. And we keep telling people in episodes, hey, check out Tubi because there's so much stuff there. I watch movies every night before bed and I love just rambling into something like, I have no idea what this is. Where did this come from? And we have been just taken aback by how much wonderful stuff is out there. To be a creative in an indie, we'll just call it indie because B movies are still pseudo studio funded. You have that freedom, but you also have a much more of an uphill climb. Every idea that you have, every ambition that you have to literally start on the ground and build slowly up. Where folks in the Hollywood formula realm, they kind of hover sort of in the mid-air. It's more about just catching someone on the right day and the right time to, catch some cash. I mean, you have like no resources available to you when you start out. I mean, you have people you've worked with and contacts, but to say, I'm going to do Zombie with a Shotgun Part 2.
Oh my God.
You need to start building in your head what you want to happen, and you actually have to make it. And I think that is something that I know our listeners are getting the hint of where, you know, cause you've got to do what you've got to do. You got to do your fundraising. You got to big, borrow, and steal. We've mentioned you many times in podcasts, especially talking about like Aaron's makeup, you know, and like, well, we got him to do this part, but we couldn't get the, you know, the teeth appliances because, you know, you got some top quality stuff and you got a little bit of a discount, you know, but you can only get so much, right? I would put to you this question. Do you think this time has focused you more, sharpened your skills, at least in your head, you know, because you haven't had a lot of time to like put things into practice? Do you overall just think this has made you potentially better at what you're going to do? Having been locked.
Wow, that's a great question. Wow.
I'll give you a second to ponder. I'll fill the air a second. I asked that because it's one of those hindsight things. If I had known we'd have had a year plus where shit was going to be shut down, right, I would have directed some free time into a lot of things. But you don't do that in the moment. You know, everything's shut down. You got to work. You got to worry about paying bills and stuff. You don't think that, oh, well, this shit's going to go on for a year. I can kind of get like a little bit of a floaty ride and, you know, I could take a year-long class in something, or I could do all that.
I don't think anyone envisioned.
Nobody, that's just it. But right now, everyone's looking back thinking, God damn, if I only knew, I could have, you know, focused. But what we have learned with Danny and I is we have learned to look more honestly at the projects. We've got a lot of shit that we've been working on, and we've realized too much. There is such a thing as too much. You know, you don't only ever have a couple irons in the fire so you can actually finish them. That's kind of our thing. But we have taken some real hard looks at the things we've been working on, projects, prioritization, and how we've approached talking to people, trying to get if we want to sell a script. Is that really important? Is that what we're after? Or do we want to make the script? Because there's a huge difference. You know, the Hollywood formula, folks, you try to sell a script to a studio and then they run rampant with it and you get your credit. There's a difference between that and having your script made, which would be finding like someone in the indie world like yourself. We've got some folks we're starting to talk to where it's like, hey, I got this idea, man. What do you think? And if you're into it, you're like, you know what? I like this. Let's talk about what has to happen, you know? And we have found that has become a more satisfying feeling, knowing that that's the route we're going, than when we started. Because, you know, we didn't know how it all worked. You know, years ago, we're like, well, let's write some scripts and send them out and see if someone likes them, and maybe they'll buy them, and then someone will pay us to write another script and all that. And yeah, no, that's not quite how it works.
That's not how it works.
There's a whole lot of fluff and crap in Hollywood that we've had to wade through. It's just like, I don't know, man. So anyway, that's what made me ask the question, because I feel we have, I'm not going to say our writing's gotten better, but our professional approach to this has changed dramatically. It's not even a 180. I think we've just like left the train and we've hopped on a new rail to go about this differently, because watching all these indie films, hearing about nothing happening, people like you.
Well, this past year, we've gotten to talk to so many people because
they weren't doing anything.
Nobody has anything to do. So they agree to talk to us, which is really cool.
And it's been a learning experience for us. That's what, you know, so where we want to go in this world of creativity has changed. And I think it's better. And I think it's more suited to us. We got rid of fears and you know, ambivalence towards things, and, you know, apprehensiveness, and just decided, nah, we can go this route. So for someone like you who has been rolling down that rail, and you know, listeners, if you haven't heard our first interview, Hilton has also done a documentary that we talked about in that first interview. That's the word. You also are really good with camera work. and still photography. We talked about that. A
Yep.
lot of stuff going. And, this is a full stop for you. And now coming back into it, have you had any of these like epiphanies? Or like I said, do you feel like you've honed something? You're more laser focused, or have you developed a new attitude? As an indie filmmaker, you have to have I'm not taking any crap attitude, because otherwise you'd get nothing done. You got to push through.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
I've been thinking while when you was talking about the question you asked, and I have to say yes. Now, there are some things that I left out when this whole thing went down. So it's again going back to this whole shutdown of the country, and so when March came and that first 2 weeks, this is really interesting what I'm going to tell you guys. And I left this out, because I know we're playing with zombie, but the first 2 weeks of March, we saw the writing on the wall. Something big is happening. Something scary is about to happen. The country's shutting down. New York City, of course, we want to show we got balls. So the city's still open. Train is still open. Everybody's like, what are you doing? Shut it down. So everybody in the city was like, shut the city down. But, of course, the mayor wants to be, no, we're New Yorkers. We're not going to close the city. The subways were still, even though it was empty. And I did a quick reflection right there. And I'm like, oh, my God. And, you touched on something before about projects. There's so many projects you have. And as you get older, you start to realize you don't have the time to do them all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're young, you're like, oh, I could do this and do that. And you're getting old, like, holy shit, now you got to pick and choose in the bucket list. You know what I mean? So there was a documentary I did that had like a special place in my heart, and it was called The Air. And it was about a 15-year-old kid whose parents had HIV, and he wrote this book and became national headlines. And when I say national headlines, he was on Dateline, he was in Life magazine, Time magazine, he was all over and everything. And I did a documentary on him. And the documentary, we never really able to finish documentary because of something happened where, just to make the long story short, some of the players did not want the film to be out and blah, blah, blah. So, there was one more thing that I needed to do. So that came to me as saying, oh man, I don't know why. It just came to me and said, I would like to see if I could like rehash that project. And, I don't know what came to me. So I called the subject matter and we got on the phone, and we got on the phone for we haven't gotten on the phone for years. And I started talking to him. I'm like, man, we need to take this film out because it's so important. It means a lot. And he was like, you're right. So I said, hey man, look, they're going to shut the city down. Let's get one more interview. And the film it starts from 1996 from Diane Sawyer interviewing him. And then I start shooting him in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I started shooting the project. And then we're here in 2020 of last year. And it's like it takes from 96, 2011, and now 2020. So we shot in the city of Manhattan, and I would say like in 2 or 3 days, city got shut down. And that to me was like, I was like, wow, I got this. It felt like a whole new project I completed just before time everything got locked down. And I start to think about that whole thing I was telling you guys that, sometimes you feel like, there's certain projects that, that you want to do. And just that was one that I really wanted to come out and talk about and release it because I felt like, like I said, it was a special place in my heart in the project. And So I took that project, brought it to my editor, and while this whole pandemic was going, we decided to recut the project and put it together. And we finally completed the project, and we're just waiting to see the right time to where we're going to release it in festivals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it was like this weird sort of like we were like suspended in time. We just was losing a whole years of work doing anything. But there was so many projects that I did that I never completed. But the material was there. I had all this stuff, but we just, everything as an artist, you're trying to do the next thing. Oh, I left that, I leave that. And I started cleaning all these like old projects that I did that I was like, wow, why they never went back and finished that? Why I never even just released this? And I slowly but surely I was releasing them out, showing the fans, I was bringing it out, all these things. And that I could answer your question at saying yes. It made me feel brushed up on my work, looked at my stuff that I've done before and said, okay, now I know what I did there that I could have done better, and just made me really take all the stuff in my head that I had. Because, those projects, you know how it is. You always have these projects in your head. It's always bothering you. Damn, I know I had that project. I should go back on it, but you never have time. And I was able to do that. I was able to go back, look at all the old pieces, all the work that I've done, and the stuff that I said, oh man, I'm going to release this out and everything. And just, that was a pretty good time for me. Because I used it useful, being home. I was like, all right, let me just start like taking all these projects. I was taking stuff, but that was shot on 16 millimeter.
Awesome.
Oh yes.
And, so, I mean, that was cool. And then I was just happy that I was able to do those things and at the same time reflect of what I'm going to do next. And, it did help me, in that sort of way.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I this is kind of like unrelated. So here comes like a right cross tangent, a little whiplash here. But you mentioned 16 millimeter film. So the first thing I thought of is we have someone we spoke to on the show. She's one of the hosts of a horror movie survival guide podcast, Giulio Marchese. She did a documentary called Out of Print, and it's like 3 documentaries in one. It's about the New Beverly cinema in LA, but it was primarily supposed to be about how they dedicate themselves to only showing movies in film, actual 35 millimeter, no digital, nothing.
Yeah, well, she started it because there was the announcement. She led the petition online to get people to sign to get them to save the 16 millimeter prints rather than going to all digital for movie theaters.
Yeah, a couple studios had mentioned they're no longer making film. They're no longer making actual 35 millimeter prints of their films. They're going to go full digital. So she did a whole online petition thing. It's a wonderful, fun documentary. The New Beverly is its own thing, but the whole idea of film, I just want to ask you, having shot with film, I mean, that's how you got, started with stuff. Do you feel like you want to someday maybe take a project on and do the film route? No digital, just kind of old school it. And, that whole fingers crossed, man, when it goes to the developer, it comes out because that's it.
I think about it all the time. And the thing that always comes to my mind is, it's the number one thing. If I had extra money, I'm going to shoot this on 16 or super 16 millimeter and just run around New York City and shoot it black and white. I just want to shoot a black and white, either 16, super 16, 35, whatever the budget allows me to do, and just do a kick-ass film. I just love it. I mean, I'm definitely black and white. It's just something with me. It's just, my early days of shooting, black and white film is just, I love it. I mean, it's just nothing like it. And I you're going to laugh because, I was even thinking hey man, what if I shoot in black and white zombie with a shotgun part 2? And I'm like, oh man, that's a little bit too crazy, but it was an idea.
Oh, I don't know. I love black and white. In fact, here, why don't you talk for a second? I'm going to show you something. Right down here.
He's a big nerd. Well, we both are. But you.
He's going in there. He's going in the crates.
Yeah, all my cameras are.
He's digging deep.
All my cameras are under my desk.
You're pulling out. Oh.
So I've got this bad boy. Oh, I'm going to have to move that.
Oh boy, love it. Love it. What is that? It is a.
It's
I can't see the.
Oh, it's a Nikon Nichromatic 1962.
Oh man, now you want to be a nerd now? Okay.
Okay.
Well, but my point was, I have a newer film camera.
Let's see.
Here's mine.
Oh,
it's the same one.
It's a Canon AE1. This is what I.
Oh,
nice. That, you know what? That's where I got started, my friend. That camera and a cracked lens. Got it at Goodwill. I told that story.
This is the camera. This was brought down from me. This was belonged to my aunt, and then my aunt gave it to my mom, and then my mom gave it to me for, so it's like
it's got history.
Yeah.
40 years of and that's the camera that I always come back to. I bought all these cameras, like, nope, it goes to the original one.
See, I love this one for shooting black and white film.
Yeah, same with that one.
The whole thing.
I just showed
now,
the same thing.
I haven't done it in a while because I've been super disappointed because I don't develop my own film anymore. I just the whole chemical thing and developing black and white's not hard. I just don't have the room and the space for all that stuff anymore. But the last few rolls that I had developed, nobody knows how to develop black and white film, at least here in the Midwest. So they always run it through their color processing film developers, and it always comes back with the goddamn blue tint to everything. And I've several times taken the negatives and scanned them through a negative scanner so I could adjust them so that they're true black and white. And I thought, you know what? I'm making digital images of film. This seems like bullshit to me.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten out of it. But I mean, it is right here, at my feet. And I find myself longing for it sometimes. And, watching older films and stuff and just, black and white, man, it's not a whole noir thing. It's a language. Black and white is a language in film.
I know.
That few people know how to speak.
It became a lost art really quickly when they switched to color and like they were really pushing color hardcore. And that was just as people were really starting to get into the artistry of black and white. And
I was one of those people who was thrilled when Steve Martin did Pennies from Heaven and it was done in black and white. I was like, wow, I don't even care what this movie's about. It's black and white, and it's not black and white where it's more of a special effect. That's just how they shot it for that period. They went full in, and I know a lot of people don't care for the movie, but I love it. I would love to see what you could do with the 16 millimeter black and white, just let loose out on the streets.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I don't know if you guys, a lot of my fans. I shot a 16 millimeter film that I put up online. It's called Survival, something I did 25 years ago. And I post it up like every other day. I show a minute of it on my Twitter, and I have a link to go into to the full film on a YouTube link. And I get people just love it. And 25. It's so funny. Just 2 days ago, somebody saw it and they tweeted me out. I've been looking at this and I'm thinking there's just no way that you're able to have, because there's scratches and everything on it. He was like, I've been looking at this closely and there's nothing. I don't think you did this on post. This looks like a real 16 millimeter film. And he goes, am I right? And I tweeted him back. I said, yeah. And he goes, I knew it. He goes, there's just no way that any program could make that black and white look the way you shot it.
No.
That real organic look.
Yeah. So he was just so amazing. He loved it. He appreciated it. And I appreciated that. I was like, oh, wow. I said, those are the things that you love to hear. And that 16 millimeter, wow. I think I shot it in, I'll send it to you guys. Wow. going to say I'm like 96, 97. Wow, that's how old I am, right? I shot that 1997. I remember running down the subway in Manhattan. And even then, the police stopped us and told us that we weren't allowed to shoot in subways. So, yeah, it was, I took the soundtrack of Heat and I put it in the film. And it is, to this day, it's like, I would have to even say it's probably one of my best works.
Oh, definitely want to. Yeah. Heat is huge for me. We just started watching it and Danny fell asleep in the first like 15 minutes. But to be fair, it was late and
I was tired.
we shouldn't have started it that night. That's a film that I always use as an example. Man, that thing has got some masterful lessons on using screen time, using your people, saying things without saying things, and just the whole kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got a quick story. I had my Steenbeck for so many years because I bought a Steenbeck in the late 90s because I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. And people were getting rid of the Steenbecks at that time because, the whole, digital was coming. So I bought one and I put it in my office in Manhattan. I had it in my studio, my apartment, whatever you want to call it. I had everything in that place. And I never wanted to give it away. And, the 2000s came and I had to store it in the back. And I stored the Steenbeck in the back room. I had a big loft, huge loft. It was an art. I used it for my gallery. I used it for something. It was just a blessing, that place. That place made me, so many film projects because of the location and how big the space was. So I eventually had to put the Steenbeck in the room, all the way in the back. I had to put sheets all over it and everything. And a couple of years, I had to leave my apartment and my office studio. And I was like, oh man. So we get to this big room and I have my filmmaking buddies. I said, dude, I need you guys to help me. And we take the sheets off and they look at it and they go, what is that? And I could not believe, I got a little bit like, oh my God. And it was two of my buddies and one of them was the same age as me and he didn't even know what it was. And I was like, whoa. I said, you guys don't know what this is? They're like, no, what is this? This is a Steenbeck. I said, this is where you cut film. And it gave me this thought like, oh man, I mean, am I really old or the art is gone? That's it. The art is gone. And it was just like, damn. And I took it apart and there was this gentleman here in New York City. He's like the only guy who knows how to fix Steenbeck still. And when he first started, he had all NYU Steenbecks. He had thousands of Steenbecks. And I called him once in a while and he remembered me because I needed to take it apart to take it with me. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford it. It was too expensive. So I had to give it away. And he told me, oh, I don't do this anymore. But he says, but once in a while, he says, there's no more Steenbecks in New York. No one does it. He goes, but I'll do it for you, so, charge me and all that stuff. So eventually I gave it to him. I said, he still gets calls, pieces there and there, but, yeah, it's gone. It's hard even to find one now. I mean, I never even looked for one, but that was just a cool story about how, the Steenbecks, how that was it. That was the way. And a great saying somebody told me, and I think we're like dinosaur here. We're like geeks here. But one saying somebody told me the difference between a Steenbeck editing and digital was when you cut in digital, it's a drive by the park. When you cut in the Steenbeck, it was a walk.
Yeah, exactly.
And you was able to see your footage much better and concentrate on the cut. But anyway.
It goes to let's switch that to let's compare that to cars, right? It's so analogous now or ubiquitous, electric windows, right? Electric windows till the day I die will drive me insane. I just I can't have that fine control of an old window. I could move it a millimeter at a time. I could get it exactly what I wanted. And it's like, no matter what you want to do in life, man, Windows like, oh no, that's not open enough. That's open too much. And you can't get in between there. It's like digital volume. Oh, can you bump that up one? Boom. Wow. Holy shit. Turn it back down. Now I can't hear it. Analog knobs, crystals, all the things in the electronics that controlled everything. Yeah, we are dinosaurs. We are walking and leaving behind an age of stuff that I say is arguably better than a lot of what's out today.
I don't disagree with you, but I will admit I did have to look up what a Steenbeck was when you said that you had a Steenbeck, Hilton.
Well, hey.
So, yeah. But kind of pivoting over real quickly. So you, Hilton, you have this Patreon going on for Zombie with a Shotgun too. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So, Zombie with a Shotgun, this is going to freak you guys out. I don't know if it is, and this is to show you how time is shit and time flies, right? Yeah. Time is just goes by. And when I tell people this, they go, no way. The very first episode of Zombie with a Shotgun started in 2012. Okay. It just seems like just a couple of years. Right. But 2012, I shot the first episode of Zombie with a Shotgun. And it was a web series that I wanted to do for sort of like exercise, sort of filmmaking, brush on your skills and stuff like that. That first episode went viral. And we all try to go viral when we do our work. And it was just amazing that went viral. And I'll tell you again, in a million years, I would never think that I would be doing zombie films. And that wave came, and I had the responsibility for me is to catch that wave, because as artists, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to catch that wave, and because that wave never may come. It sometimes never comes for nobody. So I jumped on the wave, and it was just an amazing wave. I have so many, press, and people thought it was a television series, or when is this movie coming out? But it wasn't. It was a web series. Started my social media. I was getting 4,000 followers a week. And from there, I met an amazing comic book artist, and we did issues with other artists. We did 5 Zombie with a Shotgun issues. Mm-hmm. And that helped promote the film. And then we started a campaign of Zombie with a Shotgun Part 1. We did 3 or 4 campaigns. We finally put it together. It took us about 3 years for the film to be released, after the web series, after the comic. And the film was released in 2019 on November 28th. 2020, obviously, we know what happened. Everything was silent. And then now we're here in 2021, where I've decided to take on this brand and create the sequel, where I think a lot of fans will love to see it. One of my reasons why I wanted to do the sequel is because everybody wants to see the zombie with the shotgun. And in this sequel, we are going to see Zombie with the Shotgun throughout mostly the whole film. We're going to start off the film the way the first one ended. Mm-hmm. But the only way we can do that now is through my Patreon page. And if people are fans with it, and if people have never seen it before, I always tell them to Google Zombie with a Shotgun first episode, watch it. And if they like it, that's something they would enjoy as watching the feature. And with the Patreon page, it helps, help us, in this journey to raise money for the sequel. So I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
So that's what we're doing now. And again, you can find me on my social medias from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm always on Twitter though. That's a place that people could come. Come here, baby. Come here. There he goes right here. Okay. So I'm on, you can find me on Twitter, which is my handle is Zombie WA Shotgun. And I'm always there. I'm always posting up, showing, promoting the Patreon, hitting people up. And you want to ask me a question, you can ask me a question there. Follow me, I follow you back, and that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to take this, and to me, I think it's a gem. And the reason why I say it's a gem is because when we started this conversation, we talk about making films out of the system. There's nothing in this project that's in the system. This is all out of the system. This is all pure heart and sweat and tears from the actors, from the cameramen, from myself, from the DPs, from the PAs, from everything, from beginning to start. Everything is out of the system, and it's true indie to the heart, and just how horror films were made from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that I think a lot of people forget about that. That's what what horror film was always about until it went commercial, and people forget about that. That was the joy of horror film. So that people was able to do it out of the system, raising money and doing these stories that you never will see, and just see just people just do things out of the norm,
Mm-hmm.
not follow that sort of formula, like you said before.
Yeah. Well, I can attest, listeners, go check. I mean, we're going to have all these links and everything in our little liner notes thing about the episode. We'll have links to your Patreon and stuff, but listeners, you need to go, because he's talking truth, sweat and tears, man. There are so many behind the scenes shots of Zombie with a Shotgun, of you guys, and we talked about it, you guys working in 100+ degree heat in these buildings, in basements, and trying to keep it. You got a couple shots of your production office, where you guys were setting up, and you got fans and things and everywhere, and yeah. That is suffering for art, man. That is what it is about.
I mean,
you don't have a airplane size hangar to build a air conditioned studio in, folks. I mean, this is someone who he took his people down into the stuff in the hottest days in New York City and shot these scenes. And you don't just go in and do it and get out. You got to do it, and you got to do it again, and you got to make sure the lighting, folks, we've talked about it. Filmmaking is a bitch. It's hours and hours of people doing nothing at all to do with shooting a scene. They're getting everything set up, getting everything so that when action is called out, everyone has what they need. Someone like Hilton has all of his stuff in place. The cameras are in place. The cameramen know what to do. The actors know what to do. Everyone's in sync. They know where to move, what to expect. And at some point after 14 to 25 hours, you get a take and you just go on to the next one until it's done. That's the beauty of it, though, man. That is just art. That is art. Anything that's worthwhile is hard to do. I mean, there's a lot of interpretations that, variations of that, but we've, thought that too. When even just something as simple as writing, there's some fluffy shit we could pump out in probably 2 or 3 hours. I'll lose sleep over knowing that it exists, because it's just not, you know what I mean? It's too easy. Challenges are what it's about, and just hard work. And all of the footage and shots that you have of all this behind the scenes stuff, it's like an extra serving of everything on the plate. It just makes everything that much juicier and richer. Especially you have the couple little shorts of the drone operation. I love that. That stuff was awesome.
Well, I think with, everything kind of maybe hopefully starting to open up now, and creatives being able to go out and do the stuff that, that we do. I hope that people kind of remember that the past year, it was creatives and entertainment that everyone leaned on to keep themselves sane.
Yes.
Over over the course of a year. And, for people like us, and Hilton, I just know this is the same for you, being able to go out and do things and start your projects is being able to breathe again.
Yes, absolutely. It brings that that joy back into okay, now I can go out and express myself. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just being able to do that work and do all that stuff. And So what I'm trying to say is go support Hilton.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, so listeners, what you need to do is you need to go to Hilton's Patreon, which we'll have the link for, and you need to give. And here's the thing. We've talked about this. This has been a hard year for most of America. And, not everyone has money. But I tell you what, if you are buying even 2 Starbucks drinks in a month, take one of those and send it to Hilton, because, you think a $3 pledge might not matter, but when 1,000 people are like, yeah, I can spare $3, that's $3,000. And then you double that, and then you double that. And all of those things start adding up into elements. It's pieces of the puzzle that can help him put this production together. And it's just so important, especially if you have, like so many, including us, just given yourself over to streaming entertainment because there's nothing else to do, or there wasn't anything else to do. Pay it forward. Pay it forward by, we just can't say it enough. Go give so these projects can be made. And, no one's asking you to put up like $10,000. I'm sure you wouldn't mind a principal investor, but, $3 at a time, and you can work miracles, folks. So please do that. Show the love. I do have one question I need to ask.
Go for it.
And I don't know how many of our users, because what got us talking again was that tweet that you had with that very awesome VHS tape.
Oh,
that until I saw that, I honestly hadn't given it a thought. But Jesus Christ, I was overcome with memories and emotions.
Let me see. I have it over here. Hold on. Let me go get it.
And then,
go for it. What's the question? Go ahead.
Go ahead. My question is, was wondering if you could tell us what about that movie sings to you, because I've got a follow-up question on that. That's more general, but this one, oh my God.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, that was it. Go ahead and get it ready. I just want you to.
What is it? What was the question? I missed.
Tell us what about this movie sings to you, and tell us what it is, because I want it to all come from you.
You're talking about the VHS tape, right?
Yep.
There he goes.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Well, look, the movie to my, it reminds me of my, again, going back to New York City, Times Square. I'm such a huge, fan of Times Square. As you know, I also I produced a 40 Deuce book around the 80s and stuff like that, of photographs. And no, I think that film is, I don't know, that film, it's so ahead of its time.
Can you say the name of the film for our listeners who can't see your awesome VHS?
Yeah.
All right. Let me just bring it out for everybody. Okay. Let me give some light. Here it goes. Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
There we go. There it goes. Yeah. And this is a talking box.
Yes.
This box, unfortunately, the battery I have to replace, but I don't know anybody who knows how to replace it. So I have to go find somebody. So funny. I was thinking about making that one of my Patreon videos, the follow-up of trying to find somebody who can fix this talking box and document it.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And yes. So that's one of my ideas for my Patreon pages. So while I'm raising money for Zombie with a Shotgun, the search of anyone could able to fix and take that little piece apart. It's like right over here when you look at it. It's right over here. There's a battery, and I just don't want to do it myself.
So you're looking for a Frankenhooker fixer.
A Frankenhooker fixer, or somebody that just has like skills that knows how to. It's an original. Look at that.
Oh, I know. I could just tell by the condition of the box. That is, oh my God. I love that movie so much.
You know how, and let me tell you something about this also. It's nearly impossible to get this online. If you search Frankenhooker VHS, it's like nearly impossible. You probably could find like one or two, but it's just like even when you go to Amazon, it shows that sold out. You just can't find it.
Yeah.
It is, that film. It's just it's not for everybody. That film, obviously. I think, like I said, people's gonna be like, "Oh man, let me go watch that," and then they're gonna like, "Damn, that Hilton guy! What did he made me watch?" But I have to say, it's definitely again something that the system would never do now.
Right.
There's no way that we would ever see a film like that at this time. Absolutely not. You'll be probably banned. You probably wouldn't even work ever again. They will probably call you every single whatever political word or whatever they use these days to downgrade you and make you feel like you're worthless.
They'd bring you into this whole cancel culture thing. They would cancel you, which is interesting.
Yes.
So, Toxic Avenger.
Oh my God.
Right? Tromoverse.
Yes.
We just did an episode on it because it was finally time to get around to it. And, one of the things we talked about was it's earned its place as a cult classic. The Tromoverse is, unlike nothing else out there. And I saw it in the theater, as a young teen and, or preteen actually. But they're redoing it.
I heard about that. Is that really true?
It is. It is.
It is really true. It's so funny because we recorded our episode about 2 days before they announced they were redoing it. And we were like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I guess we timed that well? I don't know.
Well, no, it's actually a week before.
They're redoing it with a huge budget. Same Kaufman is still doing it? Or
he's involved. Peter Dinklage.
Isn't it?
Is going to be in it.
No way.
Yeah. And you can probably find it. Yeah, I can't remember who else. But anyway, they announced it, and I thought, oh, come on, you're pulling my leg. But one of the things we talked about was the Toxic Avenger. It's fun to watch and stuff, if you're into that, and then, for older folks like us. But that shit would not fly today. There's so much of that movie you can't put up. They would run you out of town. No way.
Man. Not that film at all. Oh my God. That's a good question. I wonder if he's still doing his films, because his films that he was doing not too long ago would be, oh boy, boycotted.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon's going to be in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How are they going to do this? Right. Like, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. I mean, these films, like I said, going back to Frankenhooker, that story, imagine writing that script and handing it out. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I loved watching the movie, but it in no way was my motivation to be a writer.
Absolutely not. But it's one of those films that you be like, wow. I mean, whoever thought about it, got to give it to them. They went out there, they produced this film, but it's one of those films I have to tell you that gives you the heebie-jeebies at the very end of the film, and not a lot of films can do that.
Right.
And that's what to me art is. It gives you to this day still like that creepiness of like, what did I just see? How we talk about pushing the envelope.
Mm-hmm.
It pushed the envelope, absolutely, but something creepy about the film. And I have the box. Again, I'm not going to tell everybody that's like my top film of my. But it's a me being a horror fan, a horror collector. I forgot I was going to show my other rare. I'm probably going to tweet it out. I got the Hellraiser baseball cards collection, a whole full set of it. I don't know if anybody. I don't know if anybody even knows that even exists.
Wow!
I'm gonna probably tweet that out. The whole Hellraiser baseball. I think it's Tops or whatever. A movie set.
Yeah,
I have it. I have it in a box.
Sweet.
But yeah, those are like rare collections I have. I guess as a campfire story. Hey guys, you want to see something?
Yeah. To be fair, listeners, that was Hilton's tweet. It was. I don't know it verbatim, but you were basically like, I was going through some old boxes, and found this in but the battery doesn't work, and I was just like, Whoa. I happened to catch this tweet. Oh my God. The love, the nostalgia just poured in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm definitely going to do, like I said, I'm going to find I'm going to document the search, fixing the Frankenhooker, talking box.
Awesome.
You know what? You do anything that you do, man, especially something like that. Let us know and we'll promote. We'll do our best to get it out to people.
I definitely will.
All 7 of our listeners will help you out.
You know what? Now that you guys just actually motivated me, I'm probably going to announce that on Monday. I'm going to do a video.
Do it.
I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to say, "Hey guys, follow me. I'm going to do the search of creating this box to talk once more again." And I don't know who I'm going to find, but maybe listeners and people know how to fix the box. I know maybe a couple of people here. Of course, you know how New York is. There's still these old place gems, and I grew up in Chinatown. And Chinatown still has those little mom and pop like shops that will fix anything. And possibly know they have like these old watch stores. They may know how to fix that.
They might.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or they could figure it out.
Yeah. Chinatown is the plan. Yeah.
That's the great thing about big cities. They have all these boroughs that just manage to be able to stay like 50 years behind. Little bits. They're not swept away as quickly as Main Street.
And let me tell you something. Chinatown in New York City probably has to be the last. Everything in New York City has been touched, revamped, but not Chinatown. And it's scary what I'm going to tell you though, but it's starting to. It's started slowly but surely. Yes. The real estate, the development, it's going slowly. It's taking long. But I mean, like I said, I grew up in Chinatown, and I can tell you that it is probably the last. You could find these gems all over these little small streets and go, in Chinatown, the whatever you call them, the politicians, they're very strong, very in politics, and they make sure that they're not going to ruin their town. And that I love. I appreciate that about that. That just leave it alone. Don't mess with Chinatown. And and you have Little Italy too. It's still there, and Little Italy's like literally 2-3 blocks. But that also looks like people are not messing with. Also, like you just cannot touch Little Italy. But
so this is unrelated, but I want to bring it up because I think that it will make you both laugh a little bit. I found this article on Vulture to find the other person who was playing in Toxic Avenger, the new one, right? And it's Kevin Bacon. So at the bottom they have like the 2 related articles. The first one, pretty predictable. Peter Dinklage working with a drum of toxic waste to bring you new Toxic Avenger. Cool. That seems like a related article. Mm-hmm. Here's the second one listed. I have to get ready for this.
Go ahead.
This is the title.
Bring it to us.
Kevin Bacon erotically devours a mango.
That's the article title? I'm
not joking. Not even a little bit. This is for real.
Whoa.
I love Kevin Bacon as an actor. I've seen pretty much everything he's in, his TV series. We just love them when the various ones he's had. I, however, don't think I could ever bring myself to reconcile the words Kevin Bacon and erotically ever in my brain. I can't do it, man. Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
I think enough said about that.
Sign of the times. Yep.
Oh God. So I just wanted to touch base on the fact that you brought Kyle's name up. So you guys are working on getting this going, and I just want to, because I hope he hears this. I hope you let him know about this, so that he can hear this. Kyle Hester is one of the hardest people to get a hold of, man. That guy has been on the move from one end of the country to the other. Every time we've had a dialogue going, it's like, hey, you want to do the interview? Come on the show. Yeah. Okay. Well, got to wrap this up and then stuff. And the next thing he's moving to New Orleans. And I was like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, give you some time to get there, get unpacked and stuff. And then it's like, all right, get this going. And then, we're going back to California. Oh, man. So
I know.
I'm going to start truly harassing him. So if you guys have like an office call in the next few days, let him know that Jim from Bravo from the B-side is going to start getting all stalker like.
Okay,
So
you're looking for him. I will. Let me tell you something about let me tell you something about Kyle. Kyle, he has this amazing energy. I mean, you can feel like shit, and if you call Kyle will make you believe you can do anything. And that is the amazing power of like Kyle. Like he really brings you like, you know, and I've witnessed that so many times. Like Kyle will like snap me out of things. No, man, you can do it. And that was such a great, I think, and that's why we clicked, you know, like, and you know, him coming on board and acting and being a producer is because he was that guy. If I was down, he was there to just bring me right back up. And he's like, come on, let's do it. Let's go for it. And that's the thing about Kyle. It's like, it's just amazing. And I really appreciate that.
He is. And that's why we've been
positive
dying to
force of
talk to him again, because we've shot back and forth through DMs and stuff, you know, on Twitter and things. And it just, you know, you're getting this going now to know that he's on with you. And I know he's going full anchor to try and get Preacher 6 VFX fully funded to, you know, finish that thing. Yeah, it just, I love these groups of people that we've met. That, you know, you guys have this great working relationship. He's awesome. I mean, just reading his tweets, you know, the stuff he chooses to tweet about and take pictures of.
He is something else.
Yeah. And I loved watching his YouTube channel when he was doing the, you know, just video after video of let's shoot shit in the backyard today.
Yeah.
You know,
I love it, man. Like I tell you, that guy's the best. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get to talk to him and then he can talk to us about this as well. Some zombie with a shotgun stuff. And we'll just keep doubling it up. But I just wanted to bring that up because, been dying to finally make that connection where everything's settled. I'm super thrilled to hear that he is back involved with this. Now is Hank going to be back?
Hank is back.
Yes.
That is going to be one of the big storylines. Hank is back. We obviously at the end of the first one, we did have a scene for him to come back at the end, but obviously you know how it is. The money just wasn't there to, just wasn't there, you know. Right. And then, you know, I don't have to tell you or everybody, and everybody would know we just could not do the scene.
Right.
And I still remember the scene. We had a bar that we were going to use for the location. Last minute, the bar just like, you know, and it was a so-called friend of mine. Like, yeah, give it a bar, just, you know, 6 hours and everything. And it's like, yeah, let's do it. 6 hours, a free bar, you know, just, you know, he's a good friend of mine. And then boom, last minute, can't use it. So after that, it was like, we don't have money to rent a location or whatever. And he was, that was a scene that we were going to show him that he was there and he was going to come back. But yeah, Hank is back. And Kyle and I are actually talking back and forth on storylines, how it's going to be. But the cool thing is we are going to start it off how it ended. Basically, cool. The police will be chasing him.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do that, and I think it's cool. I think the fans want that. They want to see the shoot 'em up, the blood and the guts. They want to see the zombie go around, go crazy. Let's bring it.
And you know, are you gonna try and stay practical? Practical effects with the gore and stuff.
Yeah, so that's one thing I forgot to mention to you, and that's another thing that Kyle and I was talking about. So obviously, you know, one of the biggest things is the effects. It's so much money, special effects. It's just unbelievable. So we're trying to figure, you know, and of course, if you want to do it right, and this movie calls for that, especially a sequel. Imagine us going a step backwards. It's going to be like, what the hell? You know what I mean? And so Kyle and I are discussing with, you know, some top artists that him and I know. And he has actually one that he recommends that we are going to possibly in the next couple of months, maybe 2-3 months, we're going to get an artist to work on Braden, who is the star of Zombie with a Shotgun from the web series and the feature. Most likely I'm probably going to fly out to California, and we're going to do a makeup session with this artist and try to create a couple of facial masks, so we don't have to start off when we do the film, like, 8-10 hours of shooting, of 8 or 10 hours of applying the makeup, where we would have something already made, so we can use it, because we're not going to have a budget. If we're going to have the zombie with a shotgun zombie fight throughout the whole film, that budget is going to be a lot.
Right. Well, yeah.
So, everything calls on the budget, what happens, but we think that that's a smart idea to do, and we think that that's something that will benefit us. So that's what we're talking about doing.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, appliances, if you could get ready-made appliances to or not appliances, but the prosthetics, I mean,
yep,
to, go through the film. I mean, that makes so much more sense. I mean, that's kind of what the studios do. They just have money to make bunches of them,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it does make a difference. We are, and we get it. We get it. You've got as much money as you've got, and you can only do what you can do. And we've talked about it in a lot of films. Like, this is really great. The blood splatters are very obvious, but they had to go digital because, getting squibs and the blood, and somebody who knows how to wire squibs and control squibs to pop them, that's a whole another line item on the ledger sheet.
And
right?
you can have someone make blood in the blender every morning for the shoots.
Well, and we've seen, what happens when people do that. I mean, and it's, what? It is what it is. It's creativity. Somebody created something. Doesn't matter if they had to go digital because they only had $75 to carry this whole scene through, or, they were able to like dump everything into the practical effects, and then, maybe the wardrobe suffered. Who knows? But it's just whoever they want to be most stand out. It's all honorable. I mean, it's everything is worth a hat tip. So
yeah,
I hope you're able to, ground that, because we feel like practical effects is just like that last connection that's fading. Even places that have money
I mean,
are just like, meh.
I definitely, we are going to do like, definitely organic, effects. I think that's, this sort of film, of course, going back to like saying indie to the truest, that's something that we need to do, practical. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Especially like, when you get somebody who knows what they're doing it right. But yeah, I don't see us, we never had the discussion, of going, visual effects. We never had it, I know Kyle, when he was doing Preacher 6, his thing was visual effects. Mine was completely opposite what he was doing, which was pretty cool. It was two different sort of styles of filmmaking that we were doing. But definitely, I love to go the organic way of shooting the project.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping he gets it done because, we have a DVD coming. We joined the campaign a long time ago. And want to see this.
You never got a DVD, you're saying?
Well.
Did you get the DVD?
When the movie's done, we should get one for Kyle's, for Preacher 6.
Yeah. I thought you said Zombie with a Shotgun. I was
no. You were, that's how we found you. You were already like bursting out of the gate. We were surprised we got a chance to talk to you because we had just started the podcast. You were like interview number 3.
4. Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's just amazing, the support and just getting, out there, that everything helps.
Well, we'll keep it up. It'll be up on the episode, and we'll keep mentioning it in episodes. We mention a lot of stuff in the closeout of episodes when things are going on. We'll keep this rolling, and hopefully more and more people will spread the word and get out there and join, because we want to see this sequel. And you do beautiful work. That's the thing. This isn't
Thank
like
you.
a little,
I appreciate that.
It's genuine. It's not a fandom thing. We're like, oh, we love zombies and he happens to be making a thing. it really just sang to us. And Clan's rules, the stuff that you've put out on YouTube, that especially like behind the scenes and stuff, seeing you doing what you do, like I said, just is like another layer on that big feast. It just makes it more, and we just want to see more of it. And now, fingers crossed that things are getting in control again and starting to get back to whatever the next normal phase is going to be. We want to see this and then all this other stuff from you. So we're just going to keep hounding our listeners. That's right, listeners. It's not ever going to stop. Check these things out. Zombie with a Shotgun is currently where? On what services for streaming?
You can see it, of course, Amazon Prime,
right?
Tubi, Google Play, YouTube, and I think that's it for now.
Okay.
No. Yes, that's it for now.
Do you have a preference? Because we've talked to a lot of people who we understand. Profitability is like.
It's so funny that you talked about Tubi. Tubi actually is the one that takes care of their filmmakers better than anybody.
Nice. Okay. Excellent.
That's good to know.
And I was so happy when they accepted Clan's rules. And that's I was just like, wow, that was actually, and when I had submitted to distribution and everything like that. That was like my top one. I'm like, please accept it. And then they were like, not even like, I think in 2 days, I'm like, boom, Tubi's like, we accepted your film. Like, oh yes. I was so excited because, it is a big streaming service. And like you said, the popularity, I think, Murdoch from Fox, they bought it for $500 million a couple months ago. And the cool thing about it, he says that he wants to keep it the same way. And the guy that he bought it off from, the people, whoever, they're still running it. So he's like, okay, we'll buy it off. You'll still run it. And they're talking about possibly doing Tubi original TV series.
That would be cool.
Yes.
I don't mind the breaks.
Yeah, I don't mind commercials.
No, I don't mind it either. And that's how the filmmakers get money.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Yeah. Independent film, you don't. There is no marketing. There is no, toys and action figure lines and all that stuff coming out. It's almost like a non-thing to me.
Yeah, I'm so, used to, like I said, even though Tubi's a short film, is 23 minutes. It's just so funny. It's everyone is like, oh, you got to get that into a series. You got to do a television, make that into a film. But it was fun making the film, and I really was pleased how it came out. And I
found Clan's rule to be really lovely, really like visceral. That was what I liked about it. It just felt very very raw and visceral. It was really well done.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let me tell you, that film, a lot of stuff is luck. Like, the gods of filmmaking was looking down on me. And I would tell you, like, when it was so difficult finding actors throughout the whole pandemic, and I'm getting so lucky for people to come on. But even the locations, from the train location, I had a friend just say, hey, I got this location. It was just everything on time. Even in the beginning of the film, a friend said, hey, I got this location. You guys see the backyard. I'm like, whoa. And it was every location we just got lucky. And it was like, even my DP was like, I can't even believe everything, just like a domino effect. Like, we were making these calls, people were calling back, said, yeah, I got this location for you. I got this. And it worked out so well. And, it's, it's funny because somebody had told me, did I shoot this film because of the political climate that we're living in? Did I want to do something? And that was a very interesting question. And I said, no, absolutely not. I said, it started off that a friend wanted me to do a vampire film, and it just took off of me doing it myself. So what happened was, when I was in college, I wrote a Ku Klux Klan story about Ku Klux Klan and a vampire clan, and how they actually both work together, and we find out at the very end that they were cahoots together to make, this whole scheme look like they were fighting each other. Mm-hmm. Just like how we live in times now. Like everything seems like everything's all BS. They're just everyone is trying to make us hate each other. That's how I feel. And we really don't hate each other. But there's some forces out there that just wants us to hate so we could ignore what's really going on. And that's the script that I wrote when I was in college about this Ku Klux Klan, this vampire, and how they were just fighting each other. But really, they were it was all planned cahoots to make everyone think that they were, obviously there was the two powerful people, the leaders, who just didn't want to tell the rest. They were just together. So he was like, hey, how can I make that into a short film? So I took some of the elements from that script. And it was, it's a script that was a long time ago. And I'm not even going to lie to you. You read the script now, you're like, oh my God, I got to rewrite this whole thing. This is terrible. But the concept was great. The idea was there. So I took some elements of, some here and there and just made it a little bit sort of like a little sci-fi-ish kind of thing with the pills and everything like that, and put it together. And, it just came out that way where, it's just, when this person told me that, I'm like, I think that maybe people think that was the reason why I shot a film like this, because of the political, climate that we live in. But it actually wasn't. It was something that I wrote over 20 years ago, that, still sits with me. And I just was able to, how it is as a writer, you have all these films, these stories you wrote, and you're like, when somebody says, hey, do you have this story? And you're like, you think, yes, I wrote something about maybe 50 years ago, Yep. So that's how it was when somebody says, hey, you got a vampire story. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I wrote this back. So that's those things that you have in your back pocket, because you never know. So having that script for so many, so I just wanted to tell you a little bit of a background of Klan's Rules. But it seemed like everybody, enjoyed it, and told me that it would be pretty cool if I would continue it as a web series or something. And that is an idea, because the cast, I'm very close to them. So if nice. it would be one phone call and like, hey, let's just shoot this like 5 or 6 minutes and we can do it. So that's the cool thing, that I'm really close with the cast. Like it wouldn't be a problem to even do it, but it's still a thought. It's an idea. But yeah, that's the whole thing about Tubi is the best place for filmmakers. They treat filmmakers better than, Amazon or whatever you want,
right.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. So we'll start pushing Tubi.
Yeah.
I kind of had a feeling, but Yeah. Just to before we start going, I just want to show you. So there's a couple boxes, and there's some more boxes.
Those are all scripts and research. And...
No way. That is awesome.
And then what was it, just this week, I brought up an idea. I was like, hey, I heard about this cool thing. I think we should make a script out of it. And so now, now that's on our roster. Another thing to work on.
Yeah, it's something that she came across, and you said it was like a couple sentences.
Yeah, it was a couple sentences in a book I've been listening to,
and it made you look at something, and she brought it to me, and it's something that's going to require some like deep research. I mean, we've done research on stuff, but we've done it to like familiarize ourselves with.
This is the kind
medical
of
stuff for our zombie script, period stuff for a period piece, and some more things like different.
That. I'm so excited. This is the kind of thing that you get a cork board and some yarn and some thumbtacks, and you make a crazy wall. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I love that. Yes. I love that. And he's like, all right, here. This is how we begin here. This is this, that. I love doing that. Yes. That's awesome.
Yep. So
excited.
We're going to go full bore on that. But that's what makes all this wonderful. There's so many different ways to go about it. Some stuff, right from in here comes out on paper and you're just like, bam, let's make it. And other stuff, you're like, I wonder. And then you just got to go down all these wonderful rabbit holes of knowledge and discovery and stuff. And then, try and make something out of it. I love the whole, I love what we do.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to tell you, Klan's Rules. Did you notice I was the driver in the film?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was me. I just wanted to say, that's another reason to go watch it.
There you go, folks.
Again.
Look for Hilton.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's a funny story. I had
it.
my sound design, real quick, my sound design guy, right? He my sound mixer. And I had to beg him, I always begging everybody, like I had to take him out of his real job to do this, like, small indie project. And I always got to like beg him and say, hey, give him a call. I say, dude, you know what this call is about? He's like, yes, you got another project. What is it this time? I don't know. So I told him, I said, you wouldn't believe it. I told him, I got this new vampire film and we were able to bank on one big actor in the film. And I was real serious. He goes, no shit. I go, yeah, he's actually really quick. He's the driver of, when you watch the film, I said, would you do it for me? He goes, yes. He said, who's the actor? I said, I can't tell you, but he's the driver in the film. And I said, when you see him, you're going to be like, oh shit, I know that guy. So he was like, really? I'm like, yes. I said, can you do it for me? He goes, yeah, just send it over. So I send it over and then he texts me, you mother effer. That's you. He goes, I stopped everything to watch the damn film and I'm looking for the driver. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the driver? That's Hilton. He goes, he was like going off on the text message.
Oh,
but
God,
it was a good one.
it
was a good one. He did it. He sound mixed the whole project for it, which is cool.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. But it's that's definitely. But it's awesome, guys.
Very cool.
This is stuff we do is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, B-Siders, we have been talking with Hilton Ariel Ruiz, who has given us generously of his time once again. A lot of good stuff to take to heart, folks. I mean, if you haven't, you have to see his work because this is somebody who knows what he's talking about. And you can see clearly when you love what you're doing and you get out and do it regardless of how close it comes to your first imagined project, what comes through to people like us and cinephiles and people who just love movies is, man, this is something I want to see and I probably want to see again. And that's what he waited so far. We have a Patreon page in our show description. Go to it, give some money. Let's get a sequel to this bad boy going because we all want to see it. And then what we can do is we can talk Hilton into letting us play both of his movies back to back in a theater here in town somewhere for some sort of like Monster Mash movie night thing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm game for that. Absolutely. Like, again, we were cheated out on the conventions and just get this project rolling. And that, oh man, that would be awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll talk off air about that or more down the road because last year we were going to use the summer to do a project, number one, but we also wanted to get together a bunch of people like yourself and see if we could get people to bring their films. Because we know some people we've talked to, they can't touch their films. They're locked up in distribution and stuff. But we wanted to have like Bravo for the B-Side presents and at a local theater here, nice small independent theater, have like, a small film festival. Just, hey, here's some movies by indie filmmakers. And if we could get people to come talk or we could do it virtually, through Zoom or something, that'd be great. But to get people to come and see these movies in a theater, I think is like,
Yeah.
But then COVID.
I know. My God. Yeah.
So like maybe this fall we could strum something up, get a project going.
Again, not a world tour, a U.S. tour. Again, like I said, everybody was cheated, and that was one of the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to take the film to certain places, certain conventions, and just hype it up. And hey, we're here now, and that's all what we could just do at the moment. And maybe, like you said, just this could have been a blessing in disguise, where having the sequel come out and helping, getting this charge back again.
All right. Well, listeners, we'll let you know how this goes. and everything. So Hilton, thank you so very much
Thank
for
you, guys.
talking to us again. I've loved this. And B-siders, we'll talk to you more in the show wrap up coming up soon. All right. So thank you, Hilton. And
thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me and the amazing support and letting everybody know about what I'm doing and helping out with the Patreon page and everything else. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good one, man.
You too. Take care, guys.
That was an awesome chat with Hilton. Got me really jazzed and energized about a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it got you really jazzed and energized about a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And well, through that whole conversation, I was just reminded of how much fun it was to talk to him the first time.
Yeah.
And it just made talking about the things we talked about, it has made it very apparent. And we've talked about it with a few other filmmakers, Eric and Cliff and Marty and everyone. It's been a hard year. And
yeah,
I feel like we've kind of been the slime of that year has oozed over us. And it has been, I've loved doing these episodes. I love doing the podcast. None of that's changed. We have all these projects and, we've made some changes on that. But yeah, it just feels like all of a sudden, like the sun is coming up.
Yeah.
The
sun will come out.
Yeah. And it's not, let's do this instead of, it's like, we can finally do this, like we talked about the film celebration thing, like 2 days, half a day each or whatever, to showcase this stuff for these folks and to, bring people together who are fans of all this stuff. Last year we were all for it.
Find new fans.
And then the goddamn gates came crashing down and it's like, oh, fuck, we're not doing that. We can't shoot our short that we wanted to do. We can't do this festival thing because nobody can be in a room together, but now it's just like reality can maybe do this. Yeah. But Hilton he's an amazing person, super talented. Love to, I could sit and I would love to be his neighbor. I would love to just hang out at the end of the day and just shoot the shit about different stuff. So a lot of good things for folks to glob onto.
Yeah.
From this conversation.
I think we talked to a lot of people and Hilton, I think, is one of the super hyper passionate people. Yeah. That is just so fun to talk to.
Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed listening to our talk with Hilton. And hopefully he'll help rope Kyle in. Kyle's wanted to do it. It's just
he's just been busy.
He's moving and stuff and, moving to Louisiana and then realizing things that they want to do. They've got to be back. They're it made sense at the time. Right. But then you do realize when you leave your nest of people, shit gets harder to do, so going back and he's got his own projects he's trying to finish up. Hopefully we will get him soon to talk because he's another one. He's just like, bam, 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 every day without fail. He tweets the same tweets. If you're reading this, you're still here. Keep going.
Yeah.
And it's just so simple, so I can see where he would help Hilton crawl out of that funk.
Yes.
And everything.
Well, and if you enjoyed this interview and you want to listen to our previous interview with Hilton and our previous interview with Kyle and all of our other previous episodes, you can go to our website.
It is www.lordsofmisrulproductions.com.
Yeah. There you can find everything. Like I said, all of our previous episodes, you can find other places you can listen to us on the interwebs.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing is wherever you're listening to us on whatever platform, our home page link is on there.
Yeah.
So if you can't, www.lordsofmisrulproductions.com. If that's just blowing your brain.
It's a long URL.
Yep. Look for the website link.
Yeah.
It'll get you there.
So, You can also find links to our social media pages. Go on there. Give us a follow. Give the people that we follow a follow, because a lot, most of them are creatives, filmmakers, writers, actors, producers, other podcasters, who do really cool stuff as well.
Yep. Everyone, do what you can. I know time is a bitch for everyone. I've said it before. I can't listen to every podcast that we follow and who follow us. I try. I really do. Even if it's just like 15 minutes, at least I can say, hey man, gave this a listen, sweet, keep it going. But yeah, also if you are a creative at any level,
reach out to us.
Tell
us about your stuff.
Yeah. Let us give you the Hilton treatment. Let us get you on the show. Let's talk about what you've done, what you're doing. Let's, watch your movie, and we'll, go through it like we do, and then talk about what about your creation can be inspirational to new creatives who are, just trying to look for somewhere to get their feet. That's what we're all about. And, push the flip side of film.
Yeah.
B-movies and indie film, folks. That's where it's at, man. That's where it's at.
It is. And if you like a show and you want to give us a little love, there are a lot of ways that you can do that. You can give us a rating and review on the podcast platform of your choice that you listen to us on.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go check out our Patreon page and become a patron.
Mm-hmm.
Patrons get cool perks like access to episodes early.
Yep.
A week early. So you're a week ahead of everyone else. And why are you looking at me like that?
I can't remember if I posted today. It's been a busy day.
You better do that.
Yeah. Been out of the house and working from a ice cream shop. How's that, folks? Forget the coffee shop. I was working from an ice cream shop today.
Yeah. You can also check out our merch store where we have lots of cool merch. So if you aren't ready to commit monthly, you can go buy a thing.
Yeah, buy a thing. Show that you're a B-sider and you're all about B movies and independent film, and a fan of the podcast, of course.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff on there, and more logo thing. The quote thing is still in the works. It'll be coming. Actually, this will be out before I think that episode. So, long story short, lost all the files, had to have the computer fixed. I got to redo it all, but they will be coming. We will have Bravo for the B-side quotes.
Excellent.
Like, don't be a dick back.
Yeah. And Little Clown, don't fuck around.
Yep. And we'll have the episode that it's quoted from, because, we think we say some funny shit.
Life is just a series of jump scares.
I didn't. Yeah.
Now you're writing that down.
Yeah. Why don't you do a little talking here? Can't get my pad out. Oh, Christ. Okay.
So yeah, any way that you want to reach out to us, you can find our emails on our website. You can also reach out to us directly on social media. We would love to talk to you. We would love to get a little feedback on the show. That would be pretty cool. And you wrote it down?
I did. Okay. Yeah. Check us, check out the links. Reach out to us. We just want to keep going with people. We want to find. It's hard to find. It's hard to find you guys out there. There's an ocean like never. We've talked about this.
You gotta help us out, man.
It's never before in the history of film has there been such availability of access.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
It's so cool.
But it makes it impossible to see everything that is coming out and what people are working on. So rather than let us find you accidentally, reach out and tell us what you've done. So we can see it. We can talk about it. And we can talk to you about it.
Awesome.
All right. So
until next week.
This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
And we will talk to you then, B-siders.
Bye.